Welcome everybody. Doing a little sound check, making sure we're welcome everybody. Perfect. Doing a little sound check, making sure we're all right. So we are doing a little bit of Starfinder prep in the Sven Zone today. We have been I alternate Starfinder campaigns every other Sunday. I also do every other Saturday. I do a Starfinder campaign as well. I also do a monthly Starfinder campaign, but I don't stream that. It's the second Thursday of each month. However, what we're doing with this one is I'm doing the Starfinder Society. So D&D has a similar thing, but there are short uh, adventures, and the Starfinder Society is built around the concept where you can walk into any game store that has this. Starfinder Society, I believe, is Thursday nights. Um, and so typically, any game store that is participating, you can go in there on a Thursday night with your character sheet built and made. Um, Mantha, welcome, welcome. Didn't see you because I had it covered up until the last thing you said you were lurking. Appreciate the lurk. Thank you so much for stopping by, saying hi. Mantha8225 is my chief moderator. She's an awesome player as well. Um, but the Starfinder Society is built where you walk in, you sit down, it changes every week. Could potentially change every week who you're playing with. Um, thank you. I will endeavor to have a good stream. I appreciate you very much. Looking forward to seeing you in less than a week, hanging out. And so you go in there, you sit down, you play, and each of these scenarios are built to be played within 3 to 4 hours. And they make it to where there are certain parameters, certain races you can use, certain classes you can use, certain builds you can use. You earn a standardized number of experience points for each of these scenarios. The gear you can have and things like that is all that's regulated. It's not that complicated, but it's different than having just your own campaign. And so Fantasy Grounds, because Fantasy Grounds is awesome, has a society sheet on all of the Starfinder sheets. So if you click the society sheet, you can see um, once you sign up with Paizo, you have a Starfinder Society number, and then you can generate a character number, the scenario, you can change it depending on what you're doing. You typically would print this out for each time you go to one of these, and you could fill it in. And then you can see here all the boons that they have earned. And the boons are, again, specific to the Starfinder Society. They give you a little bonus. Or, for example, the Honor Bound Allies boon is one. It says, during your mission to salvage information from the Struggles Scholar, you engage in an honorable starship duel with a Vesk transport. And so future scenarios calling on this boon will specify if you must slot it as an ally or starship. So the boon might have repercussions in future scenarios. So whether it's in this particular case, it's probably going to be positive, having to do with the Vesk. And so you would slot it here in the ally boon, or you can slot it here in the starship boon. So doesn't want. There it is. Boom. All right. Anyway, So the point is, that's what these scenarios are for. As a game master, I can also walk into any game store and say, hey, I want to run these. Boom, you sit down. They are not as role play intensive because there are only certain parameters and certain things you can do within each scenario. Also, you have a limited amount of time. The goal is to get through the scenario in that single gaming session. So therefore, like I said, it's not like a campaign. D&D has the same thing. Pathfinder has the same thing, where you have these standardized characters and parameters that how you can build your characters. And that way, if I walk into one in Washington or if I walk into one in Utah, everybody knows that my character is legit, has the same stats, they're legal. You're not going to have one character with a 6 dexterity and another character with 18s all the way down, or a character with a +5 Vorpal blade and someone else with no magic items at all. So it's a standardized gaming system, and it's called Starfinder Society Play. I decided to do that, use the Starfinder Society Play scenarios for this campaign. So I've sort of merged the two. It's a ongoing campaign with the characters, but it's loosely built around the skeleton of these Starfinder Society scenarios. Paizo does a really good job with these scenarios, and so um, I think I've had a real good time as a game master, and my players, for the most part, continue to come back. So I presume they're enjoying themselves as well. So I say all that to say that's where we are in this setting right now. The one we're doing, the scenario we're working on right now is called the first mandate. Let me go ahead and turn on my Sirenscape. So this is a soundboard. Sirenscape is not part of Fantasy Grounds. You have to purchase. They do have an agreement with Fantasy Grounds, Smiteworks, and so and to me, it's worth it. I'm as the game master, they're the only ones who have to pay for it. I don't remember exactly. It's either $10 or $20 a month. Um, you can also ask, as if you are the game master, you can ask your players, "Hey, can you throw me $5 each? $3 each to help pay for the Sirenscape?" As having the sound makes it so worth it. Um, but because it's not part of vanilla Fantasy Grounds, I typically don't deal with it a lot in this channel. There's a person whose name is Matakure, and he has made a lot of the chat triggers, and you can purchase a couple things from him. And he has really good videos on how it all plays out and how it all works, how to set it all up, how to make your own sounds, things like that. So I say all that to say I'm just going to have some sounds going. The cool thing is they are not. I think I'm going to do Waiting Outside the Drift. Have that playing in the background while we're working here today. So the first mandate is a nice little unique story. sure this is the right one. Nope, this is the last one, Cries from the Drift, which they just finished. We'll go ahead and clear that one out. Here it is. I don't know if there even is a picture. No, they don't normally come up with have a picture on each one, but the concept of this is it is to the Starfinder Society had a major event called the Scoured Stars incident, where a lot of the groups were, the Starfinder Society was went missing. Here, he actually explains it really well here. Let me find where that was. I think it was, I thought I was here and getting started. Yeah, here it is. So, less than a year prior to the setting, the Starfinder Society sent most of their agents and ships in a groundbreaking endeavor to a region known as the Scoured Stars. Once they arrived, they lost all communication, and they haven't been able to make contact with them since. The entire region has been sealed off, besides some kind of force field. It's a disaster for the Starfinder Society. We lost most of our agents and our assets, and they made it through by support of other organizations. And so the Starfinder Society is throwing a gala to let the people, catch the people up on what Starfinder Society has been doing, where their money is going. It's basically a fundraiser type thing, but not really to raise funds, but just to explain these are all the people who have provided those funds. So thank you. This is what we're doing with those funds, and this is what we look to do in the future. So it's a gala. It's a little unique little scenario. The current leader is Luazi Elzbo. She is the current leader of called the First Seeker within the Starfinder Society. And there we go. So what they have to do is they have to schmooze with the people within the party. I mean, at the party, at the gala. And then there's a threat that the security guy hears about. So he sends the group to handle that threat, which ends up coming back to the gala. And there's explosives set up on the stage, and they have to save the First Seeker and the guests from the explosion. So that is the overall concept of this little mini adventure. Turn down the music a bit. Can't really tell how loud it is coming across the stream, but there we go. So within the gala, here's the map. What I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to turn off the grid first of all. I'm surprised I even had the grid on there. It pretty much comes with a grid, so that's why I have my grid there. But anyway, so I have my players on here, but at the time I didn't have the people they were interacting with. So we're going to add them on there. There's a couple different ways of doing it. Because these people are not going to be moving around, I'm just going to put their pictures on here. So I minimized the story entry there. I'm looking for I had here it is, handout. So the guests of note, they come up. This comes with a nice little handout, and there are links to every person on here. So what I'm going to do is just open up the image. Let's see, and then I'm going to just make it a layer. That's going to drag, that's going to make it a link. So what we're going to do is going to go here to paint. We're going to go here to stamp. That puts the stamp here. We're going to make the size. We're going to throw the whole thing. We have to pull it from the assets. So we'll close this, move that over, come open up your assets here under library. And we just type in how you have to find him. So we're going to do 177. You have to throw him into the little box. Click, drag, drop, boom, there it is. So it's 6.4, we only want it to be size 1. This is automatically linked to where if you change, it'll automatically adjust the whole thing. And we're gonna put iteration 177. I don't think anybody was talking to them yet, so we're gonna throw them right there, boom. Actually, I know that nobody was talking to them. Next is Nyash. She is a gnome. Again, we're going to change the width, drag it from the assets. She was talking with Kreshkisk. Then there's Royo. He is a Isoki, older gentleman. Put him off here, over here by himself. Then there's a cool symbiote. I forget the woman's name from Babylon. Deep Space Nine, but that is basically the concept of this person. Is a Icarus is the symbiote, not the elf. So the point of the elf is the host for the symbiote, whose name is Icarus. It's a cool little way they have it all set up there. And the last one is Zoe. What? Let me see. Try to remember how I can find it, where they're from. There's a way to. Could have sworn there was a way to see where the image came from. I was trying to remember so I can find it in the assets. The minimum is 3 letters, so is it Z-O exclamation point? No. Alright, so let me go to. So with Fantasy Grounds, you will see that there is almost always more than one way to do almost anything. So we're going to go to find the book that it's in. So SFS 1-05. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so there's 2 of them. I'll open up this one. Okay, go back. Go back. That's the electrovores. Okay, where is the rest of the images? Oh, there's 3. Okay, there we go. Oh, there was a cover. Okay, they just didn't have it in the first mandate. That's cool. Okay. There he is, and his name is just Zoe. That's just anyway. So we'll just click and drag it over to here. Poof. So this is the height and width. So we want the height to be 1. These guys we're talking to Zoe. Seeing each one has a chronicle sheet. Remember I was talking to you about the society play? The chronicle sheet goes over all the details of what they earn and for each scenario. Oh, I'm in the Galactic Cruisers pack. I was in the wrong one. There it is. Let's see, so for the one of the scenarios, you got these 2 boons, 3 boons, depending on what your characters did. The rifle, a pistol, and then depending on the tier that you're playing, TIER, they each get a certain number of credits and then an item level, an item, comma, level 1 or level 3, stuff like that. So, and here is all the different details, and it's even broken up in parcels because Fantasy Grounds is awesome. So, anyway, Starfinder Society. Alright, so now I have my players out, my people that they're going to interact with. The nice thing is this is a painting layer, so later on, if I don't want them, I can just make it invisible right here. I can also just make it GM only, so I can see them, they don't. So you can also make each one an individual layer. So if you wanted to move one around, you could. But for what I'm doing, it's just quick and easy. I just want to have them, give them something to play around with. So if they want to go talk to them, they go over here, etc. So I'm also going to go ahead and go to my assets, tokens, and I'm going to throw some people on there. So I have lots of different tokens for fantasy stuff. I mean, sci-fi stuff. So let's take a look at a couple of these. We have Monsters, Saints, Sci-Fi Species, Volume 4. We'll start with these guys. So we're going to throw the red version of the robot over here with iteration. We will put our anime android also with our android friend. So you can zoom in, you can see what the different tokens look like. We'll put our worm alien over here with the weird host. Alright, now we go back. So I have a bunch of Skitter, some free RPG Day adventures with Skittermanders and other people. So let's go ahead and put this dude down over here by himself. We'll put her over here. He's scary. That was the crash was the first one I did. Here it is. There's a Skittermander. Yeah, we'll throw him on here. He'll be over here by the food. We're gonna make him a little bit smaller. So if you hold down Control while you're hovering over a token, you can make it smaller. If you hold Shift and the mouse wheel, it'll spin it. So you can make it a little smaller. If you put the cursor over it, it'll pop up. It's a Skittermander with an eye patch. I'm then going to hold Control and move him a little bit closer to the table. Alright, so here's Starfinder Aliens. 1, 2, 3. Let's go with Alien Archive 3. We'll put one of our Decimer. Excuse me. Gotta get this mute button a little closer. Dubby. Tastes awesome. Get 10% off using my code. Check it out. They have both energy and hydro. So if you need like a Gatorade, replenish the electrolytes, they've got that. Or just plain old energy drink for a decent price. Alright, we're going to go ahead and throw put down one of our Hortus. I'll be over here talking to him. And one of our Shitori. And then I think I'll put one more. I like this one. Looks like a Isoki, even though it's not. Alright, so fleshed out our party a little bit. I don't know if we have a NPC for the security guard. Let's see. Alright, so we're done with the map for the second. We're going to go ahead and minimize it right here. If you minimize it, it makes it a circle like that. You can then drag that circle anywhere you want. And when you click it again, it opens it up right where it was, which is nice. And minimize it, it goes right back where you set the circle. Alright, so going to the story. Radazam is his name. Radazam. No, we do not have an NPC for him. So we will use go back to all the way to home, make sure everything's reset. We'll do the same thing, but we're going to make him his own layer. He is the security chief. He's going to be up here. We're just going to drag and drop it onto the map. So boom, now he is his own layer. And then when we go here, we just click him, make it 1. And as you zoom in, you can then move it over there. So he will be moving around a bunch. I'm actually going to turn him. Alright, so let's see what these are. This is encounter, 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 encounter. Okay, these are all different links. Alright, I'm actually going to put him in the security room then. I didn't realize there was actually a security room. So we go back to layers, click on him. You can then just drag him wherever you want. So we're going to stick him in the security room. So I don't have any line of sight set up right now. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and actually maybe I do. Let's see, do they have line of sight? Ooh, they did. They drew it. Okay. I just don't have it turned on. Not really a fan of how they did the line of sight either. Oh, it has both. Okay, 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 okay. I see. I see. It's not as bad as I thought, but still, okay. You can also say don't use the walls and just turn them off. Or you can go here to up here where it says disable or enable line of sight. And if you do go to player view, for example, that's what he's looking at. Turn on lighting, turn on line of sight. Now, every table blocks line of sight, including these. You can jump onto the table and then see around it. So, not a huge fan. So when the time comes, we need to, actually I'm going to go ahead and do that now. So what I'm going to do is I don't want all of the tables to have line of sight, because I see them as a pole with a tabletop. They could be complete pillars, but it would make less sense. So I'm going to go ahead and just go here to the line of sight tab. You want to go to select. There's a couple different ways, like I said, with fancy maps. You can click and drag to select and then let go. You have to select the layer, the line of sight layer, and you can select it like this, or you can double click the dot. Okay, maybe you can't. Why isn't it letting it? Why isn't it? Oh, it's locked. That's why. So you have to unlock the layer. So now as you select it, you'll see they are all selected, or you can double click and it'll select everything with that object. Hit delete, boom, it's gone. I messed it up. There you go. Boom, delete, gone. So just getting rid of the tables, line of sight around the tables, because when they do fight, it's more of a distraction than necessary. I'll leave the stage the way it is, and the 2 banquet tables the way they are. There we go. Alright, so now that's ready to go. So if you ever do line of sight yourself, the way they did it is, in my opinion, wrong. And let me show you what I mean. It's a pet peeve of mine. So if we go to line of sight, player view is on, click the player view. So if you look at him, there's just blackness here. It just ends. Because when they did the line of sight, they did it like that. See how thick that is? What they should have done. Let me go back to. Let me get off this player view and line of sight. Go back to here, line of sight, and I'll just do the one. Trying to get the red and not the blue. Let's see if I can zoom in enough. There we go. This. Delete. Delete. Alright, so line of sight's gone. There is a wall there. The artist drew a wall. So if you click line, wall, and instead of making it a rectangle like it is here, you just go into the middle, click. You can use the arrows, you can drag with your mouse, click again, escape. So now, when we go to enable player vision and use line of sight, now he sees it's a wall. As opposed to over here where it's just blackness. So it seems like a minor deal, but especially when you have these cool cavern walls or sci-fi spaceship walls or bunk. Also with the doors, sometimes the doors most of the time won't look like this, so it'll be very hard to tell where the doors are. So in my opinion, I don't like I think that's the wrong way to do line of sight. Good news is we don't need line of sight for this. Maybe later I might incorporate it. It depends on how the if the terrorists who are trying to blow this stuff up end up leaving, and so we can't see them, then I'll turn the line of sight on. But it's not worth it to me to undo all the work that they did and redo it when it's not really that pertinent and that important for the way this is set up. Alright, so we're done with this map. We have our party. Our gala is all set up and ready to go. Except for Luazi, let's go ahead and throw her on here as well. So we will go to our, once again, we're going to make her our own layer. Click tile. Actually, no, we're just going to drag her on. Boop. Change the height to 1. And then move her. She was up by the front. Chit-chatting to people. Oops. Control Z. So I'll have her over here talking to them. Alright, so now our map is done. Our gala is all set up. Minimized it, so that's out of the way. So once they've done that and they've talked to the people in the gala, what's going to happen is they have skill checks, by the way, if you're wondering how they run it. So each of those 5 guests you saw had likes and dislikes. And so the players would try to marry up their likes and dislikes with the different guests. If you get 4 successes on one guest, then you get a bonus later on. All right, so now, and so that's how it played out with the social interactions. Basically a bunch of skill tests, and it depends on your players and your game master if you want to actually role play them out, or you can just say roll, roll, roll. Boom. What do you talk about? Okay, that's the general topics you talk about. You get advantage or disadvantage for that. Go ahead and roll. So how you play that out is up to you. And then, so now the chief security gestures for them to come and meet him. He says, we've got a situation on our hands. I've been following rumors of a somewhat notorious assassin who showed up on Absalom Station. I heard from my contacts that he is trying to kill the first seeker. I've got security here that no one's really in danger, but it would look bad for the society if someone took a shot at her. So, on the other hand, if a team of crack Starfinders investigated and unmasked the assassin, we'd be able to show them. So, if they say yes, he gives them some stuff. So he says that a particularly hard to trace individual has been found renting an engineering bay in Sparks, which is a place. He provides the address and tells them to go to the location, finding evidence. So here's Sparks and Sparks. Here's the map. So we're going to take a look and see. So the first thing we're going to check, since we just were talking about it, is we will first of all fix the grid. We don't really even need a grid on this one. We're just going to turn off the grid. The grid is one of my pet peeves. It's just a personal preference. I don't like. I think it takes away from the beauty of the map. These artists have spent so much time drawing this stuff, and then when you just slap these lines on it, it's just very distracting. Alright, let's take a look at the line of sight. There we go. See, that is how it should have been done. Where you can see the wall. This one's a little bit too far in, but I'm not going to split hairs. Very cool. Alright. Again, I think you don't need to have every single barrel. You can't get behind them anyway. So what's the point? But I'll leave it for now. If it gets, nice thing is, fancy rounds is awesome, and you can on the fly turn those off and on, delete them and stuff. All right, so here's our corridor. Has a trap. Rigged doors touchpads to electrocute anybody who tries to get in. So that's fine. We don't need to do anything with that. It is good to go. Right here, there's the corridor, the encounter. And then there are electrovores. So these should be already placed. let's see. So you can tell here that they have been placed. So when you add them to the combat tracker, it'll automatically add them onto the map. This is a challenge rating of 6. My players are level 5, so that's fine. If anything, it's going to be a little too easy for them. Alright, what is the difference between the electrovores? Let's take a look and see. Let's look, shall we? These are CR4s. These are CR2s. Okay, perfect. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a third one. CR2. We'll drag this one here. Unlock it first. There we go. Boom. That will make it a little bit more of a challenge. Alright, let's find out where it placed them so we can know where to put the third one. We're going to change them to hostile by left clicking this faction. They're hostile. Click this button here, add to combat tracker. Alright, so there's one here and one here. So we're going to add the third one to the map right there. So it now also has the thing. You don't do it from here, you do it from down here where it says placement. Once I close the map, once I close this, we go here to menu and we go to delete from tracker, only foes. So there you go, they're gone. So that's all set up and ready to go. Let me just go ahead and read the description of the room. See if there's anything else that we're missing. Rusted crates and plastic barrels. Crowd. Ooh, they spelled it wrong. This cramped workspace. Discarded ration packages, beverage pouches, packing material litter the space. A ledge along the south wall holds a stack of rubber mats in the approximation of a bed beside a backpack. Ragged wires droop from an exposed conduit along the northern wall, occasionally showering the room in sparks. Okay, so none of those things are drawn on the map. So let's add them, shall we? Shouldn't take that long. We'll zoom in a bit. Go to our assets. First of all, we're going to go to pack. See what kind of backpack. Oh, we'll go with backpack then. Okay. Oh, that's because it's background or back cover. Alright, well, let's try backpack. Backpack, backpack. Here we go. So the backpack is a ledge along the wall, holds a mat and a backpack. So the ledge along the wall, we will then drop this puppy. So you can put it as its own. I'm going to put it as its own layer. So we'll just drag and drop it on here. So we want it to be a width of 1 or a height of 1. Let's go with width of 1. And then we'll zoom in a little bit so we can drag it. Use shift to turn it. Rotate it like that. Boom. There you go. There's the backpack. And then it said mats. I don't know that I have. I don't think I have anything that's like just a mat. Alright, I kept a note. I wrote down because Josh Whatma, who is the artist for Fantasy Grounds, Schmiteworks, has a whole bunch of garbage. And I was talking about it, saying, hey, you should, if you ever come up with more garbage, let me know. And he told me where they were, and I wrote it down. Can I find where I wrote it down? All these notes. And I remember looking at it 2 or 3 times since then, saying, oh yeah, that's where I wrote that down. But I do not see it right this second. So I'm going to check. Trying to remember off the top of my head, it was had to do with was this futuristic backpack. All right, let's go to his Fancy Ground stuff. Let's see. Abandoned places. I wonder if, was that it? Cemetery, cyberpunk, ruins, ships, modern, spaceship, housing, industrial. I'm going to try litter. Let's see. Okay, here we go. So here's a point. Where is this from? Abandoned places map pack. Litter and debris. Okay. Yeah. Abandoned places right there. Okay. Alright, so it says there are eating packages and litter the space. So we're just going to throw some of this on here. Bloop. Bloop. Move this one over. Here's another one. Throw this over here. See, Fantasy Grounds is awesome. It's awesome. Takes care of all this work for me. I don't have to deal with it. This is a lot of garbage. Put that there. Okay, cool. Alright, so we still need our mats, our rubber mats. Let's see. What is this? I can't tell what this is. It looks like a map. Destroy sleeping bag. I'll just put this one in there. That's fine. That's fine. It will work just fine. I'll throw that up here. And litter. So, oh, that's a token. Okay, so I don't want it to be a token. Go back to play. Come here. Delete it. Right click to where it says delete token. Delete this token. So we go here to layer, stamp, drop that on there. It's a little bit bigger than we want it. So we want it to be 2 wide. We will then hold shift to turn it a little bit. And we're going to hold control. Oops. And we slapped it on twice. We click this one, delete it. Click on it, make sure it's highlighted, and then we'll hold control and just drag it up a little bit. Boom. Excuse me. Alright, so there you go. Got our mat, we've got our stuff. I'm going to make the mat a little tiny bit bigger just because I'm being silly. So we're going to make it 3 wide. There we go. So it's a little bit bigger. Now we hold control, bring it down a little bit. Okay. Alright, so our map is done. Thanks to the work of Josh Watlaw and being able to grab the assets, just dump them in. Now I have them all here. So I am set for my next session. I am prepped. I've got everything I need for the next session. Not a problem at all. So that's that. They go there. They fight the electrovores. They find information, and then they go back. So depending on which of the various dignitaries the PCs managed to impress during their first part of the gala, the Starfinders gain support as they execute their plan to intercept and thwart the assassin. If they didn't investigate, if they didn't influence anybody, they don't gain any support from that person. I'm going to go ahead and switch the music. Stop. This time I'm going to go into, so that was waiting outside the drift. Now we're going to do bumpy drift run. See what that sounds like when it gets going along here. Alright, so iteration will shoot the assassin with a dart. Then the event Niege will give them healing serums. Royo will let them know that they can just smash the explosives. Icarus will disable one of the explosives for them. And then he will come up. Zoe will distract her. Cool. So cool little things that happen if they do stuff. Here's the encounter. Explosives and Triletta. Yeah, first of all, she's a single creature, and so anytime you have one person who by themselves, it's the party just going to, 4 against 4 or 5 against 1. They rarely last more than a round or two. You've got to have some other things happening, but we'll leave it for now and see what's happening here. She's an assassin, so she's working by herself. And if the characters just thrash her, hey, they're heroes. Nothing wrong with that every once in a while. Alright, so they have to find and disarm the 5 explosives, and then they have to capture or kill the assassin. So Trilotea is a reptoid, which means she's a shape changer. First of all, we're going to throw a reptoid token in there, first of all. And we'll go to pictures, and we'll put the token right there. There's a picture. Alright, then we'll lock it back up. All the action takes place on the same map, which is nice, which is this one here. Alright, so this wall here is a holographic wall made to look like everything else. Transparent aluminum window, so anybody in here can see the room, and they cannot see into it. The booth is soundproofed. Controls a hologram in the window. All right. All the guests are there. Good. There's probably a little bit more guests than what we have on there, but that's all right. All right, so I'm looking to see where she is. How do they know where she is my question. Hazard, running interference. So there it is. All right. Alright, so we're set. We are ready to go. I have everything prepared. That's the conclusion. Very nice. So there you go. We set up some maps, added some effects to it, added some people to the layers, changed the line of sight on a couple of them because they just weren't well done in my opinion. Although I will say it is nice having too much line of sight, very quickly take off, and not having line of sight at all. Having to add my own, which I do many times. Let's see, we are just over an hour, so that's good. I'll go ahead and call it here. Thank you, Mantha, again for the lurk. I appreciate you. If you want to see how this plays out, come back on Sunday nights. We just did one, so it'll be a week from 2 weeks. So let's see, it will be the 21st of March is when you'll see this play out. We started it on I'm sorry, I can't speak, the 15th of March, because we just did it on the 1st of March. So the 15th is when this will play out. And if you want to see how they got up to here and how they started the whole interaction bit, that's happened on the 1st. We had a couple people level up, and then we jumped right into it after they leveled up. So thank you for hanging out with me. Don't forget to like, subscribe, leave comments if you have questions, or if there's a question you have about Fantasy Grounds Unity. My next step is to work on some of the characters and the coding for my players. So I'll be working on that. So thanks again, and whatever else you do, enjoy the rest of your day.